Lighting Design, Lecture 1. The basics of lighting design are very similar to the basics of costume design and scene design. After reading the script, a lighting designer will mark specific parts of the script that will definitely have lighting cues or changes. Basically, this will be the beginning and end of each scene, lines in the script where a light will be turned on. Then you start planning on what would you want the scene to look like. And you should ask yourself questions like, what time of the day it is? What month? Where is the scene happening? What is the light source? These and other questions will help you in seeing the scene. You will write down all these impressions scene by scene, and you will have a lighting scene breakdown, which you will use as a guide in the design process. Then it will be time to plan out how to position the lighting instruments. In these specific pictures, you see a scene that has been lit with very warm lighting colors and from different angles. But you also see quite of a dark background, so it's probably a night scene. This is a night scene, but also you notice that there is some lighting coming, in theory, from the front of the stage, lighting this actor and then creating a shadow on the background. This has been created with a gobbo or pattern, a cut-out piece of metal that is placed in front of the stage to give the illusion of a fourth wall with a window in it. This is a dance piece. You notice the lighting is mostly coming from the side, this side and that side of the picture, and there isn't necessarily a lot of front lighting. Look at the body of this dancer, it's pretty dark. That tells me that there is no front lighting. At its most basic, stage lighting makes the actors and their environment visible to the audience. If the audience cannot see the actors, the audience will fall asleep. It's that simple. But also lighting should evoke the appropriate mood of the play, indicate the time of the day and location, shift emphasis from one area of the stage to the other, and reinforce the style of the production. After the lighting scene breakdown, which basically is their notes telling them what they should like to see on stage, they will also start doing some drawings like the scene designer and costume designers. But often lighting design drawings are in black and white, and they're just showing lighting, so different angles and different type of lighting. Contemporary lighting designers, they can also do 3D sketches. So in this case, this is completely digital sketch of how the lighting will look like for this particular scene. And this is the same scene on stage during a production. Very similar. So lighting designers can do some kind of a storyboard, even though normally storyboards are used more in film than in theater. At the same time, when you are developing your concept for your lighting design, you will ask the set designer to provide a copy of the floor plan and any kind of front elevation or model that he or she would have done. Then you will start attending rehearsal to figure out where are the actors or performers moving on stage so that you will know when do they need to be lit and exactly where. All this additional information should be added to your scene breakdown, and pretty soon you will have a complete set of paperwork for lighting. You'll be able to finalize your design and compose your lights. The objective of any lighting designer are generally 4 major objectives. Visibility is, of course, the most important. Then naturalism, composition, and mood. These objectives have been defined from a textbook from 1933, a syllabus of stage lighting written by Stanley McCandless, which is now considered the father of stage lighting. He recognizes that all these different objectives are overlapping qualities, and they cannot be done just one by one, but they will work together. Visibility is considered the most basic and fundamental function of stage lighting, because again, if the audience cannot see, the audience will fall asleep. But good visibility is essentially selective. Its purpose is to reveal things selectively in terms of degrees of importance in a way. So for example, all these actors are on stage at the same time. I can definitely tell that the most important in this moment, or the one the lighting designer wants us to look at, is this one in the center, because it's brighter. So visibility in theater is always selective. Why is that? It's because you as the lighting designer are deciding what the audience will see in which moment of the play. And it should be used to reinforce the story. So we should see what it needs to be seen in the exact moment you choose for that object to be seen during the play. Then lighting designers should also provide a sense of time and place. Where does the action take place? Inside or outside, at day or at night. And we call that naturalism. Stage setting may be highly realistic or completely abstract. If time of the day is important or the place is realistic, then motivation is always provided by sunlight, moonlight, firelight. Basically, we are showing the audience what time of the day it is and what is the location, even when the set is completely realistic. Composition refers to the overall pictorial aspect of the stage as influenced by lighting. Composition also deals with revealing the form of an object. A stage scene may be broadly flooded with soft, even lighting, revealing every object equally, or it may be illuminated by highly localized lighting on the actors only, or anything in between. Looking at this picture, you can see that the lighting on the four performances is very similar. Look at the pool of lighting on the floor. There is some kind of yellow, amber top lighting on both, so lit equally. Mood consider the basic psychological reactions of the audience. Are you staging a light comedy or a dark drama? If all the lighting elements have been properly applied, the result is a specific mood created by the lighting design. Lighting can cause an audience to feel a wide range of different emotions. Lighting can shift and change very quickly on stage, and the quality of lights. Think of these as the lighting designer tools. These qualities of lights are intensity, form, color, direction, and movement, and we will examine them one by one. Intensity and brightness typically refer to the strength of the light source, the brightness of a light. But the intensity of the source exists independently of its distance. Illumination refers instead to the amount of light falling on a surface. So when we are thinking of brightness, brightness refers to the visual sensation caused by a light source when it interacts with an object and then the eye. So brightness depends on the intensity of the light source, the distance of the object, and also the reflective properties of the object. An object that will be white and shiny will reflect more light than an object that is black and matte. In this picture, we can definitely see the actors dancing on stage, but is this a very bright picture? I don't think so. This is a lot brighter. So the visibility of what we see on stage depends on many factors, not just the intensity of the source or the brightness of the object, but color, contrast, distance, movement will all play an important role towards visibility. Light provides objects with a sense of form. The eye is able to recognize objects in terms of shape, size, and position. Form has to do with the distribution of light and how light strikes a surface and reveals an object. So distribution has a lot to do with angles of lighting. Where is the lighting instrument placed compared to where the performance is on stage? The type of light may vary from a soft, unfocused glow to a sharply defined beam that can cast dramatic shadows, and we will talk more about that. All light is colored. White light is simply a mixture of all visible wavelengths or colors. Color is usually discussed in terms of hue, value, and chroma. We need to remember that the primary colors in terms of lighting are red, green, and blue, and these are very different from the primary colors for paint, be red, yellow, and blue. Then movement. Movement in light is generally taken to mean any change in intensity, color, form, or direction. Movement can be very rapid or very subtle, slow, or unperceivable. It depends on what you would like the audience to feel in that particular scene. Now, the modern automated picture can also move physically, directing their beam from one part of the stage to the other. Basically, they can rotate on an axle. These moving lights, they can also change colors very quickly, so the colors on the inside will change and shift depending on how you program them. The direction of light is one of the most important attributes of stage lighting. Because all light has direction, even a bare candle radiates light in all directions. A spotlight radiates light in a very specific direction. Lighting from more than one direction can add plasticity and dimension to the actors. Let's see some examples of that. In this case, the actor has been lit in two different ways. In the first one, you see two light sources, a very bright from one side and a little less bright from one side. In the second picture, we only have one lighting source. This is not a very good picture. It's harsh sunlight, and we can't really see the face of this person well. It's backlighting, which generally lighting designers use to separate the actors from the background. And backlighting will create this kind of halo around the actor. Look at the halo around the head. Lighting from below, you can definitely see that this is not particularly flattering to the face of this actress. Look at how wide the nose appears. Generally speaking, lighting from below will create an unnatural but very dramatic look. It's kind of spooky Halloween, so a lighting instrument directly above the actors will unfortunately also create a very unflattering look if it's used by itself. Lighting from stage left from a 45-degree angle is nice, but we also have lack of visibility on the other side of the face. So at this point it should be pretty clear that if we want to see the actors well, we do want to try to have more than one light source. A 45-degree angle lighting system from the front, two different lighting instruments, and one of them will be a little bit brighter, and we're going to call that key light, while the other is going to be a fill light, filling the shadows. An even better look will be three directions of lighting, from front of the house, a 45-degree angle, and then from the back, a third instrument to create the halo around the actors. Backlighting, straight-on lighting, not very good, it's pretty flat. Then 45-degree angle, then 3 point of lighting, two 45 degrees angle, and one backlighting. This is the best. We should be able to identify the light source just by looking at the picture. In this case, the light source is somewhere over here. How can I tell that? Because of the shadows, right? So when lighting designers are thinking of how to create their paperwork, they will think in terms of where will I put my lighting instruments. This is called a lighting key. In a lighting key, we are showing the direction of each lighting instrument and how each lighting instrument is lighting one area of the stage. 1, 2, 3 are used for our backlighting. 5 defines the top lighting. 4 and 6, side lighting. 7, 8, and 9 is front lighting. When we apply this idea to a picture, we are basically just trying to write down the direction of the light source compared to the picture. So in this case, the direction is definitely front and it's on an angle, you can see it from the shadow. So lighting will come from 9. In this other picture, we can tell that there are two light sources. One from this direction, the other, it's opposite, it's filling in the shadows. So lighting will come from 4 and 6. Color will play an important part in your lighting designer. In this case, the color picked by the lighting designer will be an amber, and it's coming from 7, front lighting. at 45 degrees angle. So a more precise representation of a lighting key will show you the different instruments used to light this actor in the center of the area, and there are side lighting in kind of white, two different backlighting, a pink and a blue, and a system of two different lighting from house right and house left, blue and pink. This gives me some kind of flexibility, and I will be able to light the actors different ways during the course of the play. Now, to change color of a lighting instrument, I will use what's called a gel plastic, which will resist to high temperature, and it is in color. It's a filter, and lighting will pass through it, and I will have a different color on stage. I can also use gobos and patterns, trying to recreate what I'll see here in this picture and create some kind of a grid or a pattern on stage, which will add some kind of texture. Gobo, or a pattern, it's a piece of metal that has been cut out in certain shapes and inserted into this holder and placed in front of the lights. The result of a gobo on stage will basically be this one, very similar to our previous picture. Some kind of a grid work, it provides texture on stage. This will be the end of our lesson.